Welcome back, everybody. Todd here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to be doing some work with my Massey Ferguson Subcompact tractor. I thought I would take you along for the ride, show you how I utilize these clamp-on pallet forks to do work here around the cabin, around the property. Today we're going to be moving a lot of deadfall with those pallet forks. So come on with me and let me show you how that all works. Here's my implement shed. It's been raining the last couple of days, but you can see everything inside there is nice and bone dry. Even though it's a three-sided shed, you can see that rain line right there. It maybe is about a foot inside, but everything else is bone dry. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab those pallet forks right there, and I'm going to go ahead and put those on the tractor, and we'll get started. Okay, first things first, you just slide them on. Crank it down. Once you get them adjusted, you just kind of crank them down, kick them with your boot. I have the piece that goes on here to keep them perfectly aligned. Frankly, it's more of a hassle than it's worth, generally speaking. These don't come loose very often, and when they do, you just got to straighten them out, kick it with a boot, and you're back in business. So if you're just moving brush and stuff like that, I don't know that you need the spacer there. Just, it doesn't really get you anywhere. And if anything, brush gets tangled up in it. All right, let's fire it up and take it out and work with it. Here's what we're going to be working on. Got these trees. You can see this tree got blown down, and it's right on the edge of the home site here. So we're going to get this cleaned up. There's a bunch of brush back there. Let's just collect all this and move it out of our sight line, clean it up so that our view into the woods from the cabin is just cleaned up a little bit. So that's what we're going to work on here today. I'm going to get in there with a chainsaw, cut that into pieces that are decent size for throwing on the forks and getting out of there. So we'll be back in a few minutes after we're ready to start moving stuff out. Okay, we've come around the other side. This is where the stump was, or where it came down. You can see all these trees. Again, a bigger tractor, you're just not going to get in and out of here. You're not going to be able to maneuver around. I mean, if you look at this side, I just slip in between there. There's the stump right there. Here's the tree. You got a tree right on my back. Just getting in and out of here, you know, to work in the woods. This Subcompact is really the great size for that. You can see I've got a lot of weight out in front, but I'm gonna try it. If I can get it, I think I can. I'm not gonna worry about restacking this. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this up and get it dumped. So I've given you an idea how I'm using these Pallet Forks when it comes to, say, moving brush and debris and stuff like that. What I'd like to do now is show you the bucket on this Massey Ferguson, because the one thing that I will say is not all buckets on all tractors are made the same. And one thing that makes these Pallet Forks, these clamp-on Pallet Forks, so useful with the Massey Ferguson is you don't have to worry about bending your bucket all the heck. Now don't get me wrong, the thing has limitations, everything does, but let's take a closer look at the bucket and how those clamp-on forks go on, and I'll show you why I say I've not had a problem, and I've used these on a lot of different projects. So let's take a little bit closer look on this 1700 series Massey Ferguson. You can see how thick this plate is right here, and that runs all the way across the entire bucket. So you're starting out with an edge on the bucket that is superior to what a lot of them have. Then you've got the reinforcements down here. You can see that. The bottom edge is reinforced right here. You've got more there. And again, this is very thick. I mean, you look at how thick that is. And then you look at these clamps. You know, they've got a lot of clamps now, the clamp-on Pallet Forks that are for sale. But look how far this one comes down. So it's going a long ways down here. And then you can see down here that it also has a piece on top of that fork so that it keeps it level. So you're running level. If you didn't have that, this would be really pushing hard on an angle up against that. So, you know, again, just, I can't say that all of these clamp-on Pallet Forks are made the same. Just a couple more words of advice for using these things. Make sure you put the proper amount of ballast on there. Typically when I'm lifting something super heavy, I put my box blade on the back just so I have ballast. I do have loaded tires on this thing, but as you saw when I was lifting those logs and heading downhill, you know, this thing can get light in the back end when you put a heavy load on the front. So just kind of keep that in mind for sure. And then I'll say this also, that These are the Pallet Forks. I also have the clamp-on debris forks, which I use quite frequently. They don't stick out quite so far, so you're bringing your heavy loads closer back to the tractor. I'll be doing another video on the debris forks as well, so feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and check that video out as well. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you tagging along as always. It would really help me out if you'd hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my playlist. There's plenty of other videos that I have showing this tractor and different implements and things like that. If you're interested in subcompact tractors and how I'm using this tractor up here on our 80-acre property, feel free to check some of those out. But again, appreciate you tagging along, and I'll see you on the next one.